Welcome to the demonstration for Managing Client Access Outlook Clients. This demonstration reinforces the concepts covered in Lesson 7 of the Enterprise Vault 10 for Exchange Administration course. In this demonstration, we'll investigate how Microsoft Outlook Clients Access works, and we'll look at customizing the Enterprise Vault Outlook add-ins. The parts in this demonstration include investigating client access using Microsoft Outlook and customizing the client access for Outlook. Before the Enterprise Vault functions are available to the users, the Enterprise Vault Outlook's add-in must be installed on the local workstations. This may be performed directly from the workstation, as in this demonstration, or when users do not have administrative rights to their workstations, installation can be pushed to the workstation. For example, by using a software distribution tool such as the Symantec Management Platform or Active Directory. So what we're going to do is we're going to navigate to the installation media for the Enterprise Vault. And that happens to be in our CD. So then under our Enterprise Vault 10 folder, we have the Outlook add-ins folder. So we'll open up the Outlook add-ins folder. And because we're using the Outlook 2010 client, we're going to select the HTTP only Outlook add-in folder. Then we'll select our language support that we want, which will be English. And then we'll start the Windows installer package. Once the installation wizard starts, we get the welcome screen. We can then click our next button. We can read through our license agreement and accept the terms of the license agreement. Then we click our next button. We'll accept the default installation packet or the default installation path and go ahead and click next. And now we're ready to begin the installation process, so we click our install. And it comes back and says that we have finished the installation, so we can go ahead and click the Finish button. Now we've done the installation for all the users logged into the client as the administrator account because it had access to be able to install software. But now we want to log off of the client and log in as a user and see what types of functionality they will receive in Outlook based upon what their provisioning group settings were. So we're going to go ahead and log out. So I go to my Start, select my options here to log out, log off, and I've logged off. Now again, we're using virtual machines for this demonstration, so I will, actually before I log back in again, we're going to go over to the Enterprise Vault server now, and we're going to look at a couple of our users to determine which users have which policies, so we can determine what they should be receiving in Outlook. So we'll open up the Display Properties dialog box by clicking Exchange, selecting the Display Policies Assigned to Mailboxes, and then we'll go ahead and click the Find button here. Now you do get a warning because we didn't specify any kind of a criteria for the search, that this could take a long time to retrieve. But we don't have that many mailboxes, so we'll just go ahead and click Yes. Now the first user we're looking at here is Diana Palmer. Diana Palmer is a member of the Priority Users Provisioning Group, which we had created in an earlier lesson. That particular provisioning group currently is getting the Priority Mailbox Desktop, and it is getting the default Exchange, or correction, that's the Priority Mailbox Exchange policy and the default desktop policy. Now we wish to look at a different user. So we're going to look at Dick Baker here. And you can see that Dick Baker is a member of the Standard Users Provisioning Group. And they are receiving the standard mailbox policy and the default desktop policy. So now that we know which policies are being applied to Dick Baker and Diana Palmer, we're going to go back over to the client and log in as Dick Baker and see what effect that has on their Outlook environment. So So I'll click close to close this dialog box. And then we'll switch back to the client machine. And again, this is a virtual machine, so I will send the Control-Alt-Delete from the virtual environment. And I need to log in as Dick Baker. So I'll go ahead and switch user here. And then I can click Other User. And then we'll type in Dick Baker's login, which is the example domain dbaker. Specify Dick Baker's password. And then press our login button. Now we're ready to start up Outlook as Dick Baker. So we'll go ahead and click our Start button. We'll select the All Programs option. We'll open up our Microsoft Office program group. And we'll select our Outlook 2010 client for Exchange. Now, when I first open up Outlook here, you'll notice that I do not see the Enterprise Vault tab. And that's because by default, all of our clients are configured to use the Exchange cached mode. So because I don't see it the first time I open it, I need to close Outlook and reopen it, and then that should be able to force it to synchronize if we're connected, and we are currently connected, and we should be able to see that we have the Enterprise Vault add-in correctly added. So we'll go ahead and close Outlook, go back through our process of opening Outlook again. So we'll go to Start, and then All Programs, select Microsoft Office, and Microsoft Outlook 2010. Now it opens up and you can see that we do in fact have the Enterprise Vault tab, which is our representation of the Enterprise Vault interface when we have an Outlook 2010 client. And we looked at the differences between the Outlook 2010 client and the Outlook 2007 clients in the lesson. But since our client happens to be Outlook 2010, this is what you're going to see. So in my Enterprise Vault tab, I can see the Enterprise Vault buttons that are available based upon what's been configured for my desktop policy. Now what I'm going to do is just to verify the Enterprise Vault functionality, I'm going to send Dick Baker a mail message, and then I'm going to go ahead and archive it just to make sure that everything is working. So I'll click my Home tab, click my new email button. I'll type in the to field to be Dick Baker, and I'll type in a subject for this message. Now we want to also insert a picture. So I'll go up to the Insert option, Insert tab on the Office ribbon, and then I'll go ahead and click the Attach File. And we'll just use one of the sample picture files. So I'll click under Pictures, under the Libraries, open up the Sample Pictures folder, and since I said Welcome to the Desert, we'll send them a desert picture. And then I can just go ahead and click my Insert button, and it has been added as an attachment. I've also gone ahead and typed in a short body for this particular message as well. So now I need to send this message, so I'll click Send, and we'll wait a moment or so for that particular message to show up here in our mailbox. So here I have the message in the mailbox, and what I would like to do is I would like to archive this particular message. So I select the message, come up and click my Enterprise Vault tab of the Office ribbon, and then to archive a particular message, I click the Store button. When I clicked on the Store button, it archived that message, and you can see that the Welcome to the Desert has switched over to a shortcut. Now we're going to go down and look at another message just to show another difference between our standard mailbox policy and our priority mailbox policy, which we'll be editing later in this demonstration, in that there's no content in the actual message itself. Now we're going to select a message to open. So I'm going to come down to the message for Kareem Abbas, and then to open it up I can just double click on it. And you can see that it is being retrieved from your Enterprise Vault environment. Once it is retrieved, it does open up the full message. So that functionality is working. So I can go ahead and close the message. Now I'm going to come up and select a different message, the administrative test message, and I'm going to check the restore functionality. So I'll come up and click on my restore button. And it's going to give me a message to say that I'm going to restore it to this particular folder. Again, because I'm using the HTTP only client, I'm not prompted for where I wish to restore the item. So I'm going to go ahead and place a check mark here in front of the do not show the message again. And then I'll click my OK button. You can see that the shortcut goes to the pending archive or pending restore icon. And then once it's actually restored, it goes back to a regular mail message icon. So now what we want to do is go ahead and close out of Outlook. We'll go and make some changes to the priority provisioning group by changing some settings in the Exchange mailbox policy and creating a new desktop policy for that provisioning group. So I'll go ahead and close Outlook. And I'm going to go ahead and log off the dbaker. So I'll click my Start button. Then I will select my option to allow me to log off. Now I want to switch back over to the Enterprise Vault server. Well, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and log in as D. Palmer and see what happens or what D. Palmer has available before I change that the settings for D. Palmer. So I'll go ahead and select the Control-Alt-Delete. Then I want to switch the user, go to an other user, type in D. Palmer's login, for example, /D. Palmer, type in D. Palmer's password, go ahead and click my login button, and then I'll open and close Outlook, because again, D. Palmer is in the Exchange cache mode as well. So when I go to the All Programs, the Microsoft Office program group, select Microsoft Office 2010. Again, initially when I open it up, because of that being in Exchange cache mode, I do not see the Enterprise Vault tab on the Office ribbon. So I'll go ahead and close Outlook. And then we'll open it up again from our Start, All Programs, our Microsoft Office, and then Microsoft Outlook 2010. And we now have our Enterprise Vault tab on our Office ribbon. Now we'll select a particular item that's already been archived. And you can see that in Dick Baker's case, we didn't have anything at all for the content of the shortcut. But since I'm in a different provisioning group, which is assigning a different mailbox policy, I now have the content being displayed, the full message body being displayed in the shortcut. So now we'll go ahead and close Outlook. And we'll switch over to the Enterprise Vault server. And now we want to create a new desktop policy that we're going to assign to the priority users provisioning group. So I'll come over and expand my policies, Exchange, select my desktop, and then I can do a right click on the desktop, select New, and then Desktop Policy, or just Policy. And we'll change the name of the policy to be for our priority desktop policy. And I'll go ahead and click OK. And again, when we were creating policies, when you create them, it just creates the name and the locator. To actually set the properties, we have to open up the property page for the desktop policy. So we'll click on Properties. And the first thing that I want to modify for the desktop policy that I'm going to assign to this provisioning group for the priority users is to change what buttons they see on their desktop. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the Store in Vault option from the toolbar. I'm going to add the Cancel option to the toolbar. Then we're going to set up some advanced settings for Outlook. So I click on my Advanced tab. Under my list settings, I have Outlook selected, and I wish to change the way the Archive Explorer launches. So I'll scroll down until I can see the Launch Archive Explorer option. And then I want to change it from opening up in Outlook to opening up in a web browser. So I click my Modify button and change it from in Outlook for a value to separate browser. And then I can click OK. And now that I'm done making my changes, I click OK again. And it does prompt me that it will not take effect until I've synchronized the mailboxes. So I acknowledge my warning. And now I want to modify the priority mailbox policy. So I come up and click on my mailbox under Exchange Policies. And then I click on the priority mailbox policy to change the properties. Then I click Properties. And what I want to do is I want to modify the shortcut content. So I will come up and click on the Shortcut Content tab. And I'm going to change it from using the full message body, which we saw earlier, to be customized. Once I've selected Customized, there's a prompt that says, in order to use customized shortcuts, we must configure the shortcut text.txt file. So we'll do that in just a moment. So I go ahead and click OK to accept the warning. I now want to have a banner for the priority mailbox policy. I want to include a link to the archived items. But for the characters, I only wish to display 100 characters instead of 1,000. And then I'll also change the display attachments to be a link. So I select links. Then I'll go ahead and close. That's all the editing I'm going to do for the priority mailbox policy. So I'll go ahead and click OK. But now I've got to go and open up the shortcut text.txt file and edit that. So I'll open up my Windows Explorer. And the shortcut text.txt file is located in the Enterprise Vault installation directory. So that's under My Computer, on the D drive, under Program Files, and Enterprise Vault. So now I'll just scroll down until I can see the shortcut text.txt file. And instead of editing it here, in case anybody needs access to it while I'm editing it, I'm going to make a copy and place it on my desktop. So I'll right-click it, select Copy. And then I need to minimize to move out to my desktop. So I minimize the Windows Explorer and minimize my Enterprise Vault Administration Console. And then I'll paste this to my desktop. Now I'll open the shortcut text.txt. And I'll select Notepad to open it with. And you can see there's a discussion of the information that's inside of the shortcut text.txt file in the top of the document. But it does say that we can edit some areas within the document. So we'll scroll down to the area that we can make edits. And what I'm going to do is this section here where I've got this item has been archived, this message has been archived, and this task has been archived. I'm going to add a few letters to the end of this message just so that when I see these particular items being added in the shortcut, I will see those 3 capital A's at the end of each one of those messages to know that this is the edited version that I modified. So now I can close it and save it. So I'll click my Close button, say yes, I do wish to save. Now I need to copy it back to the Enterprise Vault folder. So I'll select the shortcut text.txt file, select my copy option, I'll open up my Windows Explorer again by clicking the Windows Explorer icon. And now I'm still inside the Enterprise Vault installation directory, so I can just do a paste. I click in there and then I select paste. And of course, because the shortcut text.txt file is already there, I'll select the option to copy and replace. And it does remind us that we have to have administrators' permissions to do that. So I'll go ahead and click continue. It copies the item in. And now I'll be able to see the results of that when I go back to the client later in the demonstration to make sure that those changes were in fact made. So now what I want to do is I want to go and change my desktop policy. So I'll click my Vault Administration Console icon to open up the Enterprise Vault Administration Console. And then I'm going to go and change the desktop policy for the provisioning group priority users. So I click on my provisioning group. I select the priority users provisioning group. I click on my properties to open the property page. And I'm going to change the desktop policy to that new desktop policy that I just created, which is the priority desktop policy option. Then I need to change or save my changes, so I'll go ahead and click OK. And now we had two prompts along the way of performing this, which was the prompt that I needed to synchronize. And also because I've made changes to the characteristics of a provisioning group, I need to rerun the provisioning task. So I'm going to run the provisioning task from my Common Tasks Launchpad. So I click on EV Site 1. I come down and expand my Enterprise Vault Server Management. I can then click on the Run a Task option. Then I can expand the tasks that are available on this Enterprise Vault server, EV server. I'll select my provisioning task, for example.com. And then I'll come up and have the option to run it in normal mode. So I'll go ahead and click OK. It tells me that the provisioning task has started processing. So I'll click OK. And I just want to do a quick check to verify that the provisioning task has modified the 8 mailboxes that we'd seen that are in the priority users provisioning group. So I'll navigate to the report file location on Enterprise Vault by opening my Windows Explorer. I've already got the reports selected under the Enterprise Vault. Then I can go into the Exchange Provisioning folder. And here is the current provisioning tasks that I just ran. So I open that up, and I can see that under the Priority Users Provisioning group, that 8 mailboxes were updated. And that's how many mailboxes I had in that group. So that all looks okay. So I'll go ahead and close the report. And then I can go ahead and close the Windows Explorer. Actually, let's go ahead and go to back to the Administration Console by clicking the Administration Console at the bottom. And now I'm ready to synchronize the mailboxes. So in the Common Tasks Launchpad, I can expand the mailbox management. Click on the Synchronize Exchange Mailboxes. Expand the server options. Select the Exchange Mailbox Archiving task for Server 1. Then I can go to the Synchronization tab, click my Synchronize button. You can see that the synchronization has been queued. So now I'm ready to go back to my client again. So I'll go ahead and click OK. Switch back to the client machine. I'm still logged on as D. Palmer. I'll go ahead and launch my Outlook 2010 client again by clicking my Start button, selecting Microsoft Outlook 2010. And we want to go and see if I've got a change to my Enterprise Vault tab in the Office banner. And when I go and look there, I can now see that I do have a Cancel button that I didn't have before, and my Store button is missing. So those changes have been implemented. And let's see if the Archive Explorer opens in a separate browser. So I'll click on Archive Explorer. And you can see that it's connecting to the Archive Explorer UI.asp page, active server page. Once it connects, the Archive Explorer is open. Now we'll get into more details in a later demonstration about the details of how Archive Explorer works and what we can do with it. So I can just go ahead and close the Archive Explorer. Now that we've closed the Archive Explorer, I'm going to go ahead and show you that I still have the option to store items in the vault. But to be able to store the items in the vault, I have to use the menu options. To see the menu options, I have to select the More Actions section. And then I'm going to go ahead and archive this message. It was a welcome message. So I'll go ahead and select the Store in Vault. We get the prompt that it is going to store it in the current location. So I'll place my check mark here that I don't need to see that message again. I'll go ahead and click OK. And you can see that the icon shifts to the pending archive icon. And because we have the archiving to delete the safety copy immediately after the item has been archived, it will then switch over to the shortcut icon. So you see that the icon goes to a shortcut icon, and then it switches over, or the pending shortcut, and now it switches over to the shortcut icon. Also, you'll notice that the message that we had changed in the shortcut text.txt with the 3 capital A's does in fact show up. This is the end of this demonstration.